Welcome to another episode of The Golden Point UAE, as always, with James and Shazzy, the Batman and Robin of the Padel podcast industry. Shazzy, good to see you again. How have you been?
James, I've been amazing, playing a lot of paddle lately. And of course, with a lot of people being away during this period of time, we've done a lot of Shazzy's events. Shazzy's Slam Jam, Shazzy's Cup, Shazzy's Espresso Martini. And the wildest thing, James, is that this last weekend, we had the Shazzy's Cup, which is our monthly major event. One of our new community members took the Shazzy's Paddle Pros label to the extreme.
To a new level,
To a new level. And we were fortunate, by the way, to have the amazing legend, Willy Lahoz. How is it in Spanish, James?
Willy Lahoz.
Willy Lahoz. Willy Lahoz with us. And of course, three-time world champion.
I was surprised because I heard someone asking if he was playing on the right or the left, as if that made any difference. And to all of you at home that, you know, like me, started playing paddle post 2020, Willy Lahoz is a three-time world champion who also partnered up with Fernando Velasteguin to win 2 World Paddle Tour tournaments at the age of 44. So I don't think it makes a difference whether he was playing on the right or the left.
Correct. And if we're talking about age, I'm still golden. You know, at age
slightly above 44, but yeah, he's still running around. Yeah. But I think like it's an interesting topic because I think for everyone else, sides matter, right?
Absolutely, James. Actually, I'll be honest with you. It drives me insane because sometimes, not always, but a lot of the times it drives me insane because, look, I started on the right side, formally training on the right side for over a year. Then in those days, there weren't a lot of paddle players. So I went to the left side and was playing more left. Anyway, over the years, I realized that my stronger side is the right side. Of course, I also believe it depends on what level you play. Like if you're playing sea level, for example, if I'm playing in a sea level match or a sea level tournament, I could easily play left side because I'd be stronger than maybe the other people that are on the left in that level. But as soon as the level goes up, I'm going back to the right side where my strongest suit, and you allow a strong left side player to play. Right?
I think it's natural when you start playing that everyone wants to be on the left.
And that's what drives me insane. Everyone thinks they're a left side player.
Yeah.
Now, I also believe we should
everyone.
Everyone. And I honestly believe that we all need to train both sides. And I've heard other people talk about it as well, that paddle players should know how to play both sides, right? And I strongly believe that. But this thing where there are players that, and they're even, let's say, new to the sport or just coming up, and maybe even haven't had training or just started training with a coach, that are adamant about playing left, but they can't cover the court. I believe a left side player needs to cover 60-70% of the court in movement alone. So you need to have stamina, you need to have movement, you need to have pace, you need to understand position. And the other thing is, well, the track of thought is that left side players must be able to finish. Okay? Must be able to have a good smash and be able to finish points if they're in a position to finish points. Now, this could be different because you might have a right side player that's left-handed. They can be the aggressor, right? And that would suit me very well because the left side gives me a bit more scope, a bit more range. But if I'm right-handed, playing with a right-handed player, the left side really needs to cover a lot of ground and should be able to finish.
I think there's two things. So one is, as I said, like the natural starting point for everyone tends to be the left, purely from the point of view that you have a much wider angle. As you said, there's a bigger scope for you to be able to play. So I think we all kind of feel more comfortable starting off on the left. The right feels a bit, anti-natural and uncomfortable. But as you start playing the sport, then you need to understand what your strengths and weaknesses are. And as someone who is a proud forehand player, I think that the roles are very clearly defined.
Yeah.
As you said, the left or the backhand player needs to be someone who, can comfortably cover 70% of the court all the time, and that, killer smash, or at least the way of finishing a point, right? Whereas if I'm playing on the left, every point's going to last at least 20 minutes because there's just no way to finish the point. Whereas I feel like when I play on the right, my job is completely different. My job is to defend and kind of lead the team in that more defensive aspect, and B, decide the tempo of the game so that I can try and generate a ball for my partner to come in and kill the point. And I feel like a lot of people struggle with that concept of, I'm not the star of the team. I'm not the one who's coming in and, hitting that amazing smash and getting all the
and this is the biggest issue in paddle, in my opinion.
And it's like when people understand the sport and they see someone who's playing on the right and is slowly moving the other team around and patiently controlling and enjoying the tempo, and then suddenly throwing a chiquita, taking the net and generating that ball, then it's like, okay, this guy knows what he's doing, right? But I feel like a lot of people get trapped in this kind of, no, I need to be the guy who just makes that stupa jump and gets it por cuatro and enjoys it.
I've also been through the whole journey. Today, I love playing on the right. I love being able to control the tempo, be defensive, and I'm playing much better than I was because I went back to coaching, as we've discussed, the importance of coaching. Watch the episode. But the funny thing is, as soon as I go left, this is more in the past because lately I've also controlled it. But as I was going to play on the left, I would get more aggressive. I would try to finish points faster. And that's not it, actually. You've got to wait for the right opportunity.
Correct.
And that's the understanding of the game, as you said. Now, even when I play left, I play more controlled left, and I'm not trying to finish. I don't have necessarily the best finish, which is why I don't always play on the left. It is getting better, but, I wasn't really... haven't been a great smasher of the ball. The portraits, the 3 meter. So it's actually better for me to play a more controlled version of a left side player. But I definitely can, even though I'm 50 years old, I do move well. I can cover well. And the technique is there. Of course, needs improvement. But paddle is about continuing the point until you're in a position to finish.
Correct.
Look at the women's pro version of paddle. They just keep going and going. Another great example, by the way. They just had the event in Giza in Egypt. And the court was slow. There was wind conditions because it was outdoor and all of these things. And it was actually refreshing to see that the male pros, had to also continue points. They just had to keep going. And the points we were taking like 2 minutes, 3 minutes, they were taking forever because it wasn't, they weren't in the position of smashing. Because I guess the ball moves, and I played an outdoor event at the Spanish event. I had an absolute nightmare because the ball moves with the wind. It's a completely different game, And that's another subject, because balancing sports and health. Rise brings you kombucha.
A natural artisan kombucha brand crafted without added sugar or carbonation. If you're serious about performance, recovery, and clean ingredients, then look no further.
Rise, embrace the kombucha magic.
But I think it's interesting you mentioned the pros, because when you look at both the male and the female players, I think those roles are so clearly defined when you're watching that, where naturally the backhand player is always going to assume more risks, right? Because it's that position where they have to take risks. But it's very clear how they build points, how patient they are, how they communicate. We've spoken about this in previous episodes. Go watch them. But what's important is that both players in the team understand and accept their roles. I think that's where partners, either succeed or fail. And if you have a team where you have a player on the forehand that understands that their role is the ugly bit, and the player on the left, can have that freedom. Because as well, when you're playing on the left and you have someone next to you who can defend, can control the tempo, and can be independent, it gives you so much more freedom to move around and get yourself in a comfortable position. Whereas if you don't have that, nobody's really doing their jobs. And I would tell people, go watch the pros in slow motion, because they do play very fast, to clearly see why these roles are defined that way. And there's absolutely no shame in being a forehand player. Okay?
Honestly,
no shame. Okay, mum?
Your mum's been putting you down? Sorry, James. That's a different episode. We talk about psychology later, or psychiatric. James's mum, come on. I love playing right.
Yeah.
And I get creative on the right.
Don't get me wrong. I love playing left.
Yeah.
For fun.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Right? You
And
got an entire
sometimes
court
a better
open
workout.
to you, right?
Yeah.
But where I'm by far at my best, and actually where I enjoy the most at a competitive level, is playing on the right, because it just suits who I am.
Yeah.
It doesn't, trying to be a competitive high level, as you were mentioning, backhand player just does not suit my skill set at all, right?
Yeah.
So there's no point in trying to force that in, and instead it's okay. Well, let's just be who we are.
Yeah, and the other thing is, look, James, again, coming back to my frustrations of playing with certain players that are adamant about playing left, and again, it depends which level you're playing, right? If you're playing naturally against higher level players, don't be ashamed to go to the right. Yeah. But everyone has to train left and right to be able to do that, right?
Correct.
Because some people only train left, and yes, when they go to the right, it's like alienation to them, right? And they don't know what to do. So it's very important to learn both sides. But then those people that are also insisting to play left, let's talk about, being in the match. What I notice, they don't have the movement. They don't get to the ball properly. Their positioning is even wrong, and that's why I also believe it's not only about, when you go for coaching, it's not only about technique and how you hit the ball, but where you stand on the court. Yeah. And for me, the biggest mind-boggling issue, James, is if I'm playing right and you're playing left, and we're serving to the left, and we're playing against the opposite left, then I on the right have to cover the middle, right?
Wait, start again. What?
So next time we need a
draw it for me.
Okay. Should I do it on here? Okay. I'm here. You're here.
And we're serving.
We're serving.
Okay.
This guy's here and this guy's here.
Yeah.
Okay. We're serving.
Okay.
Here.
So
I need
Australian.
to cover the center.
Yes, agreed.
And then if we're serving that way, or if the ball goes that way, left side player covers the center.
You always offer the hardest angle.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. This is a basic thing that many people don't know.
Yeah.
So please learn.
Just to avoid Shazzy's frustration.
This needs to come to you by a certain racket brand. We're looking for sponsors, okay? So contact us.
No, yeah, I agree. I think one of the biggest problems at amateur level in paddle in general is everyone's very focused on coaching to get better at a technical level, but not a lot of people are paying attention to the tactical side, and let's not even get into the mental side.
Yeah,
right?
totally.
That's a completely different game. But I feel like when you pay attention to the tactics of the sport, such as standing in the right spot and communicating with your partner well enough to understand who needs to cover what, that's when you can take your game to another level, not because you're better than them, but because you're playing smarter than them. Mm-hmm. And I've had this with a lot of players who are way better than me, and I've managed to scrape through just because I'm using my head in a better way than they are. And when you start seeing the difference it makes when you are standing in the right place and you are covering the right angle and you're playing the right type of ball with the right speed and the right tempo and the right patience, it's so much more enjoyable to play those matches, because suddenly it feels like, I'm not just hitting a ball by instinct.
Yeah,
I'm trying to build something. I'm thinking
Absolutely.
2 shots ahead, right?
And, another thing, James, whilst you were away,
Yeah.
lately there's been, due to the, let's say, regional issues, a lot more paddle being played.
Yeah.
At least by me. I don't know. I'm playing like maybe 14 to 18 hours a week of paddle.
You remember we had Joao,
Yeah.
the coach, go. Who specifically said playing 14 times a week is the worst thing you can do for your body. And you're not young, mate. So start listening.
I don't know if you know. I don't know if I told you, but I've now gone back to Coach Joao.
Oh, yeah?
And I've signed up for a triathlon at the end of the year. So not only am I playing 14 to 18 hours of paddle per week, I'm trying to do 10 to 12 hours. No, it's probably less than that at the moment because we're just sort of creeping into it. But maybe 8 to 10 hours of triathlon training as well. I think I'm officially trying to kill myself.
Yeah,
okay,
I would agree.
It's kind of a different kind of suicide. But anyway, James, one thing I've been doing lately, and this is also comes to the left and right, and I do train both sides. Not only am I doing the coaching for paddle, I've also recently been going and taking a court and these ball feeding machines.
Yeah.
Okay.
I used to use that. Yeah.
And I've been hitting like, I don't know how many balls it is in the end, but like a 1 hour session, I think I'm hitting 300 to 400 shots a ball. Shots, balls,
Shots. Yeah.
And wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always said it. On the right, I'm a magician. On the left, I'm a beast. Okay? But I probably do have to say I'm one of the bestest players in the world.
Bestest everything.
Okay?
Yeah.
But man, what a difference it
course.
makes. Like hitting those shots repetitively.
You get into a rhythm, right?
Oh, it's unbelievable. And I highly recommend it as well. I'm sure a lot of clubs out there have that option now as well.
Yeah.
It's actually cheaper to do it with a coach, though, I think, because you have to rent the court for an hour and
the
rent
machine.
the machine.
Yeah.
So go to your coach, maybe. That might be better. But great idea.
Yeah.
Tony Robbins says something along the lines of repetition. I should really learn the quotes before I say
You should, especially if you're going to repeat it.
Repetition is
the whole point of the quote is
of mastering or something like that. Anyway, we'll find it. Maybe you can bring it up on the actual episode when we do it.
Going back to the whole conversation of left right. The key aspects to take away is don't be a diva. Don't just be a left player because whatever. Like play both sides.
Absolutely.
Train both sides. Worst case, if you are going to be a diva, play with a lefty. And at least that way, you compensate. But I do think like it's time that we bring the forehand player to the forefront.
Yeah.
Pun intended.
Look at people like Chingoto. Look at people like Dineno. Look at people like you and me. Right side players.
Exactly. Right. And there's no shame.
I'm honored.
It's super enjoyable. You just need to, let that little ego go. Have fun on the right.
Oh, I do amazing, creative, winning shots from the right. Too creative.
They're definitely creative. I don't know if they're winning, but they're definitely creative shots.
Well, James, it's been an absolute pleasure. This was a subject, I think, close to both of our hearts. I'm not sure. Definitely close to mine, a point of frustration because of the recent matches and tournaments I've been playing. And sometimes, you know me, I'm like a coach. I want to tell people, listen, this is not your side.
Yeah.
Go to the other side. And if you can smash portraits from the right side, you're better than the left side smashing portraits because it's more difficult even, I would say.
There's more technique.
Yeah. So great to be talking about these subjects. Great to be back. Great to have you back, James, from your extended holiday. And we look forward to the next ones. Guys, thank you very much for tuning in to the Golden Point UAE. As always, please watch, like, and subscribe. And don't forget, try Rise. Embrace the kombucha magic.